not even popping on. I was using my phone. With a smaller outlet, and it was take forever. It's not. I don't know how much I want to show. Oh, I'm on 16%. Are we giving?
Okay, yeah.
What is it? Which hotel? They didn't say what the name was. Yeah, that was me too. Because
Already, I got 6 o'clock.
Did you say which one it was?
Well, good evening. Welcome to the City of Douglasville Planning Commission meeting. I am Francisco Artley, the chairman of the Planning Commission. The other members of the Planning Commission are Natalie Fegan, Keith Burnett, Nathan Zachary, Ralph Benton, Mark Fan, and Joy Bates. And I'd like to welcome Ms. Bates to our Planning Commission, and we're glad to have you. The staff members are Patrice Williams, Community Development Director, Lynn Woodward, Staff Attorney, Ryan Anderson, Zoning Administrator, and Maya Jackson, Planner 1. There are a few protocol items I need to make you aware of before we start the meeting. Please listen closely on how tonight's meeting will be conducted. Keep your comments and presentation on a professional level, dealing with the facts that are important for this commission to make its decision. We will not accept comments that are considered by the chair to be a personal attack on any individual or group of individuals. You will receive a warning from the chair if you deviate from this requirement. A second deviation will result in a request for you to leave the meeting and the premises for the evening. Refrain from any applause or comments from the audience. Only one person will be talking at a time, and all comments will be made at the podium after the speaker has been recognized by the chair. Please direct all comments to the chair and the commission, not to the audience or the staff. Please do not applaud or react to speakers. Speak from the audience, cheer, carry on a conversation with others in the audience, or disrupt the order of this meeting in any way. Be aware that these hearings are not a debate or an opportunity to ask questions which must be answered by any individual tonight, but merely an opportunity to present information to the commission. Other than the applicant, no person may speak more than once. The applicant may reserve part of their speaking time as a rebuttal and may speak next and last and may use the entire 20 minutes allotted for the pro side of the application. Other than the applicant, no speaker may speak more than 5 minutes. If you have a pager, cell phone, or other electronic device, I ask that you either power them off or put them in silent mode. If anyone wishes to speak tonight, please fill out a form available on the table up front and hand to the staff before approaching the podium. After each case is called, we will hear next from the Community Development Director, and then we will hear from the applicant or their representative about what their plans are for the property, along with any relevant information they wish to present. The commission members will be free to ask questions at any time before the vote on a project. Following the applicant, anyone who wishes to speak for or against the project or just ask questions will have an opportunity to do so. The city ordinance restricts each side to a maximum of 20 minutes, or time may be waived at the discretion of the presiding official. If questions are raised, we may ask the applicant to speak again. Afterward, we will call for a motion and a second, have any necessary discussion, and if the matter is not tabled, we will vote to recommend approval or denial of the application. This commission is only a recommending body. The item will be heard by the mayor and council whether we approve or deny the application. Unless tabled, these items will be heard by the city's mayor and council at their legislative meeting on Thursday, June 17th, and then voted upon at their meeting on the following Monday, June 21st. Our first order of business is to approve the minutes from May 4th. Are there any discussion on those minutes? Do I have a motion to approve them?
A motion is meant to be approved.
Okay. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, the motion is passed. I am looking here. Did mine come up?
Mine didn't come up either.
Okay, huh? I'm good. Okay. I didn't see it come up on my screen. That's what I was wondering. Okay. It's magic. I'm in the agenda notes. I'm trying to get out of those. Huh? So,
I didn't see mine come up either.
okay, there we go. Okay, thank you. So they're they're good?
Yes, everybody's good.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
The first case is item 20-256. Hold a public hearing and consider a request for a change in zoning from R3 Single Family Residential Detached to GC General Commercial District for 3.63 acres at 5626 Highway 92 in Land Lot 53, District 1, Section 5, Parcel 49. Applicant by Noel DeMilo, is that correct? Thank you, sir. And also Hakeem Hillard. Staff will now present the item.
The applicant seeks to develop the subject property with an 84-room hotel, as well as a separate 8,400 square feet multi-use building with 86 on-site parking spaces for the hotel and 42 spaces for the multi-use building. The applicant has not identified the specific uses to be located in the multi-use building. It is anticipated that the building will attract a diversity of uses that will complement the person visiting the hotel, as well as the needs of the nearby residents. The subject property is identified as a community activity center character area on the City of Douglasville land use map. GC is one of the preferred zoning districts for the community activity center. The proposed hotel and multi-purpose building will complement the immediate area while providing transient visitors near the city's downtown area with possible disposable income to support some of the businesses in and around the target area. The proposed project can possibly spur an increase in new development activity near and around the subject property and possibly serve as a catalyst for additional complementary commercial development. The proposed rezoning to GC will be consistent with the intent and purpose of the UDO. As a result, staff recommends approval of the rezoning from R3 to GC.
Thank you. Will the applicant come forward and state their name and address for the record? Tell us what you intend to do on this property.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the Planning Commission. My name is Hakeem Hilliard. I'm the applicant and the attorney for this request. Hilliard Starkey Law, 260 Peachtree Street, Atlanta, Georgia, 30303. I'm here this evening with Mrs. DeMello, who is the applicant representative that's prepared to answer any questions you might have about the request. I thought I would start briefly and add in a little bit to what Mr. Anderson's offered. Ms. DeMello saw this site, thought it was an appropriate site. One, because of the area that it's located in. Your plan, your long-range plan calls for a commercial on this site. It supports the request that we're making. Its location on Fairburn Road, adjacent to an interstate highway, clearly shows that with GC developed all around it, clearly shows that single family is not appropriate for that site. So looking at the 3.6 acres, 3.6 acres on the property, we thought that the use of a hotel, and I know on the site plan it says a five-story hotel, but we're proposing a four-story hotel, 84 rooms, with a total of, and then an 8,400 square foot commercial building on the same parcel with 130 total parking spaces for the site. And if you see this, if you've seen the site plan, you'll see that our intention is to comply with all the applicable development standards for the property, landscaping, and all the other features that would make it appropriate at this location. There was a couple of questions that came up in our discussions about whether there was adequate parking, given that we hadn't identified all the tenants for the additional building. What we contemplated was a parking requirement for retail in that space, and as we identify what's appropriate and commensurate and compatible with the hotel use. Also, because of the new ride-share issues that are being addressed all over town, we thought that all over the metro area, we're hoping that the full complement of parking is not going to be necessary for the hotel tenants as well, hotel visitors as well. But that's the general presentation. Ms. DeMello, I don't know if you want anything to add, or we're available to answer any questions that you might have about any details of the request. Thank you.
Are there any questions from the board?
I have a couple questions. Go ahead.
How you doing today?
Very good.
Good. Just one question I had. Entrance to the facility, how do you plan to, or where do you plan to make entrances for that facility?
On the site plan, there's currently one entrance. It's kind of like I don't know what you call it, like a alleyway down into the property. There are other opportunities. We've talked a little bit about that with staff, but that's the one we would like to use right now. I mean, obviously, it's going to cost to get easements in other areas, but we have opportunity to do that. But that's
what you're looking to start with right now.
That's right. That's right.
Mr. Van?
Just a couple questions. Do you have a, like, it's going to be like a chain, it's going to be privately owned, it's going to be a Marriott, you know any of that right now?
So we've had a little conversation about that. We were trying to kind of figure out what the market would bear at that location. What we think right now is that the market will support $104 per evening hotel, and the available chains in that category are Clarion Point, Best Western Plus, Ascend, are the three of the brands that we know qualify in that price range. I know there's a question about that was raised in some of the conversations we had about quality. We intend to make sure that there is quality, but the question was what the market would show. So we've gotten that additional information since the last time we had a conversation with staff. I'm looking around, but that's what the plan is right now. I know it's a difficult conversation to have because it's a promise, because you can't condition zoning on that, but I think we're committed to doing that, to do what the market supports.
Makes sense. Now, this 8,400 square foot commercial space, I know it's a little, is it set up to have multiple tenants, like 10 tenants, 5 tenants?
You want to respond to that?
I think at this point.
Name and address first.
Oh, sure. My name is Kavita DeMello. Hi. So the initial plans are to to do like a restaurant. Some space will be restaurant. So, Hakeem said that we probably allocated parking just for retail, but we actually allocated a majority of the parking for restaurant because it's 175 square feet per space is what we need. Oops, shoot. Sorry. So that's what we are looking to do. One of the major uses would be a restaurant because with the hotel, it would be complementary.
Yeah, so basically the idea is you're bringing the people in, have a place for them to stay, a place for them to eat,
Correct.
Starbucks. One in every
Coffee, yes,
corner.
definitely, yeah.
Okay. And so, and that, you really don't have a design or a floor layout for that, you're just trying to,
Right, so
Figure it out as
we
you
have
go.
no concept for that as yet. I mean, we just wanted to make sure, we have enough space, enough parking, which, we seem to have, so.
do you have any concerns about it being at the corner right there on the, it's kind of like you got the in and out right there at the beginning, and then you're kind of really on the ramp. I know that may cause some issues as far as your attorney friend right there is dealing with all the stuff, ingress, egress. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, as far as, right now, the ingress egress is from between Pizza Hut and Dunkin' Donuts, which actually this particular property owns that little parcel of land as well. So I think that would be a immediate ingress and egress, but also we do have easement. This particular property has easements on the other side on Earl D. Lee as well. So there is a possibility to put in a entrance from Earl D. Lee, which would have a signalized intersection. So may actually work out good from that angle as well.
Makes sense. Thank you.
Are there any other questions from the board? I guess I've one as far as the market, because there's 5 hotels across the street, and I think that was my concern too, with what kind of hotel that would be there.
Right.
Can that area sustain another hotel?
Those properties across the street are all much older properties. So this would be a newer property, a more upscale property compared to those properties that are existing on the other side of the interstate.
All right. Are there any other questions? If not, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks very much.
Is there anyone who would like to speak in favor of the project, ask questions, or make comments? Please come forward and tell us your name and address. Is there anyone who would like to speak other than in favor of this project? Please come forward, tell us your name and address. Is there anybody on the phone lines or anything? Nothing? Okay, thank you. Is there any further discussion needed on this? All right. Do I have a motion regarding this application?
Yes. I'm a motion to approve.
All right, we have a motion to approve.
Second.
There's a second. All right. All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, the motion passes and the application is approved. We got everybody. Thank you. All right. The next case is item 20-257. Hold a public hearing and consider a request for a change in zoning from PUD, Planned Unit Development District, to PRD, Planned Residential District, for 53.846 acres at Lee Road in land lot 719 District 18, Section 2, Parcel 5. Application by Parks P. Huff. Staff will now present the item.
The applicant's narrative states that the purpose of this request is to develop a 300-unit multifamily development consisting of 10 buildings, including a clubhouse. The proposed development will have 451 parking spaces. The project will be comprised of 60% one-bedrooms for a total of 180 units, 30% two-bedrooms for a total of 90 units, and 10% three-bedrooms for a total of 30 units. One-bedroom units will make up the bulk of the apartments. The proposed development is consistent with the purpose and intent of the city's Unified Development Ordinance. The city's UDO states that the intent of the PRD zoning designation is to protect and promote a suitable environment for family life and to encourage flexibility in meeting the needs of families by providing high-density apartment dwellings with a minimum development site of 2 acres. The proposed amendment introduces a development with a density of 5.56 units per acre into an area that could be considered economically challenged. The proposed project can spur an increase in new development near the target area and serve as a catalyst for additional complementary commercial development. The proposed development furthers the intent of the comprehensive plan. The proposed use is consistent with the comprehensive plan land use designation for high-density residential. As a result, staff recommends approval of the rezoning from PUD to PRD.
Thank you, sir. Will the applicant come forward and state their name and address for the record? Tell us what you intend to do on this property.
Good evening. My name is Connor McNally. I'm a principal with Shelton McNally Real Estate Partners. We're the developer of the property. We reside, our office address is at 999 Peachtree in Midtown Atlanta. We've got a few slides here, and if it's okay with the commission, I'd like to just walk through that quickly.
Yes.
Please feel free to stop me at any point and ask questions.
Okay.
So the property location is on Lee Road. It's on the far eastern side of the city, adjacent to Interstate 20, and like I said, right off Lee Road. Across the street to the east is county property, and we are bounded on the north by Interstate 20, and on the south by another apartment complex. So zooming in a little bit further on the site, again, you can see that it's an almost 54-acre site running all the way along Interstate 20. The access to the site is somewhat challenged. The yellow highlighted box here is actually showing, including the very corner of the interstate ramp and Lee Road. That property is not actually in the city. It is a separate 1.2-acre parcel that we are under contract to purchase simply because we want to clean up the intersection. It's an old abandoned gas station that's a little bit unsightly, and so as part of our project, we wanted to purchase it, landscape it, and make it more attractive. We also have a pump station that's owned by the county. That's the little indent that you can see in this yellow highlight, which means that the access to this site is pushed to the south of that, and it's in a very narrow band off Lee Road. And then there's quite a lot of grade change. You have to go uphill very quickly, and then you get to a power line easement and a gas easement. We have 2 iterations of our site plan. I apologize that this is almost impossible to read, but this is our zoomed out version showing almost the entire parcel. It continues to the west, but this shows you that we have quite a long access way to get back into the developable portion of the property. A significant amount of the property is taken up with wetlands and a couple of stream or creek crossings that need to be made. So ultimately, we're really only developing less than half of the property because we've had to accommodate for all of these challenges. In addition to a large amount of topography, you go up 40 feet in elevation coming off Lee Road and then back down to the stream crossing, and then the site goes up another 50 feet towards the rear. And towards the rear of the property, there's also a considerable amount of rock. The large quarry is just to the north of I-20 in this location, and so all around this area, there's significant rock deposits. So we've gone through a lot of time and energy and engineering to reach this plan. And ultimately, I'm sorry, this is a zoomed-in version of where the multifamily sits. Again, 10 residential buildings. We also have a 5,600 square foot clubhouse and leasing center that has a gym, a club room, and a pool for all the apartment tenants to share. So in summary, the property will be developed as a market rate apartment community. We develop Class A apartments, so high quality finishes. I'll show you a few pictures in a moment, but granite countertops, stainless steel appliances, 9-foot ceilings. The rent range will be approximately low $1,200s, $1,225, up to about $1,700. So the $1,225 would be for a one-bedroom, $1,700 would be for a three-bedroom. So they're not subsidized in any way. This is not designated as any kind of affordable housing, but at the same time, we're delivering a high-quality product at a rental rate that we think is affordable for a good amount of the population. Again, the property size is just shy of 54 acres, so we're 5.56 units per acre. Access to I-20 is very immediate, just coming out on our main access point on Lee Road and go to the left, you're at I-20. Less than a 5-minute drive south on Lee Road to the Publix anchored grocery center at Highway 92, and there's a CVS and also a racetrack down at that location. We're very close to Sweetwater Creek State Park. So in our mind, and this seems to be echoed by staff's report, this is an ideal location for a multifamily community. We've got great access to the interstate transportation, great access to amenities and retail, and we're bounded to the south by another institutional apartment complex, and in fact, to the north of I-20 on the other side is also another apartment complex. Currently, it's zoned PUD, so it certainly allows for this type of development. We are going through a rezoning simply because it is not practical to put any commercial use on this property. As you've seen with the challenges we have with the site and the limited access from Lee Road, it's simply not feasible to include a commercial component. And so we were advised by staff and obviously went along with seeking the rezone to PRD, which is more appropriate for the use that we're proposing. We have worked, our engineers have worked pretty extensively, both with the city, but then also with county DOT. We've submitted a traffic study and shown that we have a very minimal impact on the traffic loads on Lee Road, that it is amply sized both now and with future expansion to handle all of the traffic. And we've in fact coordinated very closely on how we're going to do the turn-in, turn-out to Lee Road, both now and in the future, because there are some future widening plans for that intersection. And other than that, I'll just run you quickly through some of the pictures. This is just a rendering of the exterior. Each of the 10 buildings is 30 units, and again, ranging in size from 1 to 3 bedrooms. Some representative unit pictures, again, showing you the level of fit and finish. This is very consistent, we would say, with what you'd find as an in-town apartment in Midtown Atlanta, but instead of parking in a parking deck, you're parking in surface parking and much more affordable rents. Our club building, this is a rendering of one we're building in Florida right now, but same building would be here, 5,600 square feet, office and leasing center, large fitness center, a club room, which is a gathering space for the tenants, and then it opens back out into a covered patio and a resort-style pool at the back. This is the club room. These pictures are actually from a very similar property. We're just completing construction in Greenville, South Carolina, so this is a very accurate representation of what you'll see. And then just some examples of outdoor amenities. The top left-hand picture is a very similar clubhouse at a property in Florida, and then the others are just examples of the type of outdoor amenities that we'll include. On this particular property, we're going to take advantage of the fact that it's difficult to develop and large and try to build in some walking trails. It's a 50-acre property, and we see it as some great opportunity to amenitize. That's it.
All right, thank you. Are there any questions from the board?
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I completely agree. It's ripe for walking trails in that whole area with all the streams and you know, forestation that you have. So please be sure to include that. I did have one question. Is it gated?
Yes, the plan is to have it gated right now.
Okay. Thank you.
Oops. Okay. How far off how far off is the property off I-20? like set back? Will I-
It abuts I-20.
It
It
right-
runs
but
all the
it's
way along
right-
I-20.
okay.
yeah. There is some grade fall, so as you're traveling west from Lee Road, you start to go uphill. And so generally, our property runs uphill with Interstate 20, but we generally are below the elevation of 20. So if you're driving west and you look to the left towards the property, the grade drops off in the first 50 or so feet from I-20 and then levels out.
Oh, okay. So they won't look like really tall next to the interstate, what you're saying is it'll,
Correct. They're going to be set down at an elevation probably 20 feet below the interstate, and the buildings themselves are 30 feet with a pitched roof, so they reach about 30, just under 40 feet in total height. So they will not appear large at all from the interstate. And in fact, for most of it, it's going to be covered by the existing tree cover that's there. There's just some of the buildings at the back that will be slightly visible. Most of the rest of it will be secluded, including our clubhouse and pool area that sits down adjacent to the wetland area. So it'll be, a nice, sort of quiet environment down there, separated from Interstate 20.
thank you. Are there any other questions from the board?
Yeah, I have one question.
Yes, sir.
Square footage for the units, I know you got 1 bedroom, 2 bedrooms, and 3 bedrooms. I don't know if I overlooked that.
Yeah, so they, I've got the actual numbers here. The total average square footage averages about 940, but our 1 bedrooms range from 750 to 815. Our 2 bedrooms are 1,175 square feet, and our 3 bedrooms are just shy of 1,300 square feet.
And then just one other question about that, the exit plan, they won't be able to turn left to go to I-20 coming out of the complex, that's correct? So they have to make a right
So-
and then do a U-turn, is that how that?
No, so right now, there is a small grass median on Lee Road further north towards the interchange. That grass median ends right where we're putting in our entry-exit point. And so the back and forth that we've had allows for a full left turn to go north, and to have a turn-in lane and to have a left turn coming north. If there's expansion done to Lee Road down the road, there is a potential that at some point it could be limited where you wouldn't be able to turn left, but you could go down. There's a drive just to the south of us that would allow for stacking and a U-turn. But the conversation with County DOT and with, our engineer's been back and forth, is that the current plans as delivered will have full access in and out, left and right.
Thank you. All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Is there anyone who would like to speak in favor of the project, ask questions, or make comments? Please come forward, tell us your name and address. Is there anyone who'd like to speak other than in favor of this project? Please come forward and tell us your name and address. Is there anybody on the phone line? No. Is there any further discussion needed? All right. Do I have a motion regarding this application?
I'll make a motion to approve item number 21-257.
Is there? There's a second. Thank you. All right. All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? The motion passes and the application is approved. Thank you, sir. Is there any further items to be discussed? Then I call that we end this meeting. Have a good night.